when you're feeling goal-oriented is when I find that I'm having lesser sort of fun, you know? It is absolutely sodden in here. Oh, my whole body is just dripping with sweat right now. That is the hardest portage I've ever done in my life. And not really stopping to really, you know, enjoy. And I'm missing the beauty of what's right in front of me, you know? Temagami never fails to reward those who are, you know, willing to put in the work to get into it, to get into its heart. What an incredible, special place. So it's a little after 7 a.m. right now, and I'm just starting out on the access point of Mowat Landing on the Montreal River, just sort of at the northeast corner pretty much of Lady Evelyn Lake. I'm going to be out for about 12 to 13 days hopefully, and I would like to do quite a large loop, and my goal is to paddle down Lady Evelyn Lake and get across sort of Diamond and Wakimika, and then cut my way through the small chain of lakes that start to get up into the more high elevation Temagami country called the Mesabi Range, and from there into Florence Lake, and then take a loop back through the Lady Evelyn River, coming out on the North Channel. I'm also hoping to hike Maple Mountain, which is something that I've really wanted to do in this area for a long time. It's the highest point in Ontario, or the second highest point. Supposed to have spectacular views around. This is going to be by far the longest trip that I've done solo, so it's definitely going to be a challenge. I'm familiar with some of the terrain and scenery, but not all of it. It's rained hard overnight, and there is definitely some rain in the forecast the next couple days here, but it's pretty calm, a little misty this morning. Really beautiful, really quiet. And thankfully, checking the forecast, it feels like the winds are going to be on my side for this first stretch here. Well, I've gotten past the sort of the river narrows of Lady Evelyn, and am now just sort of starting to come out onto the main body of the lake here, and it is really beautiful, and it is so calm and quiet right now. was just looking over the map right now, and no wonder I was feeling just so gassed at the end of that, looking for this site to stop and take a break on. I started off at like 7:30 this morning, and I got over to this site here to take this break, and it's about 11:45, and yeah, paddled about 21 kilometers just flat out. That's really good. I was like thinking that maybe that this is where I would make camp for the night, was to hopefully getting to Obisaga Narrows if the winds cooperated, but now it's like barely even lunchtime. So I'm gonna take a nice stop here, chill out, get some food, get some calories back into my body, rest myself up for a minute. But I'm definitely gonna continue on down the lake here, and yeah, just see how far I can get here. So really great start to the trip. Well, when you're getting pissed on with rain, you might as well be out on the water paddling anyway. Wow. I think I see the portage sign at the end of Lady Evelyn Lake. Now I'm on Diamond Lake. Crazy. So I definitely won't be making it further than this lake today, but that's wild. It's been a serious day of paddling. It was like 39 kilometers. That for me is like superhuman amount. I've never done anything like that. So, and that was solo. I mean, there was no portages. There was just the one portage at the very beginning of the day, just a short one. The rest of it was all just like flat water, and it was calm conditions on Lady Evelyn Lake. And when there was wind, the wind was with me. So, you know, all of that, you know, was in my favor. But still, just really big day. So, it's pretty awesome. That's really positioned me well for the next stage of things. Pretty much gonna just sit back now. It's gonna be a super easy dinner tonight. I'm thinking chili, just always something on a rainy day, something like that. Warm myself up, maybe some tea or some hot chocolate. Probably really early bed tonight, and yeah, feeling good about today, and feeling good about the start of the trip. So happy to be here. Oh. Got a bit of a chill on right now, which is surprising because I was paddling all day in the rain and didn't feel any of that. And now that I've got myself into some comfy clothes and I'm actually getting some hot food into me, I'm feeling a little bit chilled, but no matter.
gonna jump straight into the tent today, straight into the hammock after dinner, more or less. Read myself to sleep, warm up that way. So no fire tonight. I had a primo sleep last night. Was so exhausted. There is a wind blowing, but it is a northeast wind, and I'm heading southwest, so that's good for me. So just gonna bust up camp here and have some breakfast and start making my way down Diamond Lake here. So the plan for today is to work my way across Diamond here, and then there's a couple of short portages across a really small lake. I can't remember the name of it, and then into Wakimika Lake, and from there across Wakimika to the west end of that lake, and from there then I start to get into some of the nitty gritty with the portages and a lot of the smaller chain of lakes that kind of get a little bit more high elevation up as you get into some of the more like high Temagami country to the west. I can't remember what my goal was to be at for day 2, but I know I'm going to be past it, so I think just going to paddle to Wakimika to start off the day here, and then probably take a break before I start hitting those portages, and then we're just going to get going and see how far we get, see if I can bash out a couple of those and kind of get going a little bit into some of that tougher stuff. So should be a good challenge.
So one thing about my site last night that was unusual is when I arrived to it, it had all these signs posted up that said it was reserved as per the indigenous hunting rights of the area. And yeah, that was really cool. I've never seen that before. It's really cool actually to see them exercising those ancestral rights to, hunt and fish on the land as they did for centuries and millennia before. And it would have been cool to kind of run into them and have just a little say hi. Obviously, I'm grateful to be out here and paddling in such a special place. I don't know what it is about Temagami, but I feel the spirit here. more even than, say, in other great places to paddle and be, you know? The forests, the bodies of water here, they're very special. And I find that I can feel that when I'm here. And it just is a beautiful place to be. It's a beautiful place to be a part of. A small part of. And that's all I gotta say about that. Now continuing up into sort of this new area of Temagami, gaining a bit of elevation, moving up onto these chain of smaller lakes. My hopeful goal when I started out today was to get to Dorothy Lake. That is 5 lakes away from here. They are small lakes, but 3 of them have portages of about 1 kilometer or so between them. We'll see what the conditions like, see how tough the portages are. Oh. It is absolutely sodden in here. Of course, it's beautiful, but it is wet. I'm just not sure where I'm getting more soaked from, the rain that's coming down on me or all this understory that I'm just swishing through and just squeegeeing my legs with every time I brushed by it. After my lunch stop, I was feeling a little cold, feeling a little chilled, which isn't a great feeling when you're kind of in the middle of it like this, trying to trek through, get a little deeper, get to some sights. But feeling warmer, surprisingly, after walking this trail a couple of times. This big food barrel on my back, going uphill. So many pitcher plants. Wow. Well, I've gone through with the canoe on this one, and this one's a doozy. It is through a frickin' bog for most of it. An amuse-bouche of what's to come. Oh. This trail here teases you with a couple of relatively hard bits of ground, but for the most part this portage is basically navigating about 1 kilometer plus of a sphagnum moss bog. It is very muddy, and there are there's cut logs laid down that to get you across the super squidgy bits where you'll sink right in. And of course, with all this rain, they are super freaking slick, just deadly. Only in Temagami. Oh, yes. 3 down. Wow. It's like looks like a nice vertical up to start. Holy crap. I don't know what it is about in Temagami. I guess because it's like the height of land sort of for Ontario, and you know, most of what you're tripping through and portaging over is the remains of some like ancient mountain range, right? So it's like super rocky, really, really rugged, but it's just like, I don't know, the way it looks, even in the midst of the forest in these portages here, the mosses, the lichens that are growing off the rocks, like different colors, the incredible variety of like ferns and like plants and undergrowth and stuff that's under here. It's really, really amazing. Heavens to freaking Betsy, what is this? All of that elevation that I just climbed and gained, just freaking going all the way back down again. What is the point, Temagami? What is the point? Hortense Lake. Four of 5 gone. We are going to make it to Dorothy after all. One more short paddle on portage. And it is a short one. It's probably really hard, but it's short. Here at Dorothy Lake, campsite is set up. The rain let up as soon as I got here, which was really, really nice. I do not expect to see any sun today like last night, miraculously coming through. It is still very misty, very socked in, but it has stopped for now. And I did check the forecast on the Garmin InReach that I carry, and it says tomorrow is supposed to be sunny with clouds, and the next day after that's supposed to be sun. So that would be amazing. Hopefully we're done with this rain, because that was a little, that was tough. That was tough going. Oh, that is nice.
It's amazing how much more satisfying the simple pleasures are out here when you've had a really hard day. You know, like if today just so wet, drenched, getting rained on, slogging through those portages, to now I'll be sitting at the end of it, dry clothes, feeling clean, got a nice dry setup behind me. You know you're going to be warm, you know you're going to be comfortable going to bed. Got something hot to drink, got something hot to eat coming up. It just lifts your spirits. And this spot is a really great staging ground, because tomorrow is supposed to be some of the hardest slogging that there is. It's a very short portage tomorrow over onto Chapin Creek, I think it is. And then from there it's a few hours, a couple hours I think, going up that creek. It's not very far for distance, but I think it's tough going. I think it's going to be fairly dry. Who knows, with all the rain, maybe it's going to be a little bit wetter, but there's going to be a lot of dragging or lining the canoes. There's going to be some beaver dams to lift over. Just some more slower going. And then at the end of that, have what apparently is, you know, perhaps the toughest portage in all of Temagami to look forward to, and doing it from the hard direction, going from east to west. And that's going up to Chapin Lake. It is a 1,600 meter portage, but it gains something like 110 meters in elevation gain. Tomorrow's going to be tough, but today was also tough and got through it. Hopefully tomorrow at least I'll have better weather. That'd be nice to look forward to. Yeah, it's a nice site here. There's heaps of firewood lying around, but not that I care tonight. Although, like, part of me is like almost wanting to have a fire just to be cheeky, but it's all wet. It'll take an effort to get going, which is okay if you're determined, but I'm not. Not tonight. So I'm gonna be really happy to have my dinner, have my hot chocolate, crawl right into that hammock and read for a bit, get another great sleep, and be ready to pound out a hard day tomorrow. A little bit of a developing situation to keep an eye on here. Yesterday, my left shoe on the Sylvester portage started to dissolve and come apart. It was already in kind of bad shape, and I kind of chanced it coming out here on this trip. It was starting to come apart on the heel a bit, and then it really started to come up. I have this much duct tape left. If I see anybody on the trail at all, I am going to be flagging them to see what duct tape they have, and I will just keep lacing this and lacing this to get through this trip. So fingers crossed. Creek here is at least a little wider than I thought it would be, so that's a great sign. But yeah, we'll see. It is buggy in here, so we'll get moving. It's actually not so bad. It's probably the sun that's making me feel like I'm having such a great day so far, so that is lifting the spirits. Famous last words? Maybe.
It's very little paddling at this point. It is, oh, I'm sinking. Come on. There we go. Found the first portage. Yeah, there's like some culverts here, so there's clearly like a berm. Maybe this is some old forest road that is now grown over. I'm going to take a look at it and check it out, which is pretty cool to see. You can ditch your paddle for almost all of that the further up you go. My God, it's just like you're just dragging the canoe the whole time. So glad to be at sort of a checkpoint on here, and I'm thinking that on the other side of this portage I should be maybe 2/3, 3/4 of the way through that. I just got back from the first run with the canoe. Now I'm back for that barrel right there. Holy shit. That is the hardest portage I've ever done in my life. Even though it's, you know, 1,600 meters long, the first several hundred meters, for a few hundred meters of it are like pretty flat. So it really just gains in the back half of it to an insane degree. It's just mountain climbing with a canoe on your back. But there's also sections of just boot sucking mud, and can't even speak right now. I'm so tired from that. So let's get at it with the second one. Nice that it's well signed. I'd be interested to know when the last time this portage has been cleared. First, find the trail. Step 2, be deceived initially by what great shape it looks in. That's your first mistake. 3, don't move too slowly or the mosquitoes will get you. 4, sail out of the swamp. Oh. 5. Start working your way up a bouldery slope full of blowdown, broken trees. Oh. With just a little bit of flagging tape to mark your way. 6. Briefly stop to admire the beautiful, mossy, lush, green forest scenery. 7. Make peace with your maker as you begin the ascent of Mount Everest. It really gets you, because the first part of the portage is already tough enough and pretty tiring. The fact that they just throw the then steepest freaking ascent that you would ever do with a canoe on top of you. After all of that crap, it's just freaking deviously cool. That's even too nice for it. It is like just sadistic. This is where it starts to get steep. It just keeps going up and up. Step 8, or wherever we are, fake summit. Think you're at the top, but you still got a little more to give. Maybe not quite as hard with the food barrel, but you burn so much energy getting through the first run with the canoe that tough to say. I see water. Is that a beautiful sight or what? Step 8, 9, 10. I don't even know. I lost count. Collapse with exhaustion. From that direction, never again. Oh my God. Remember this feeling, Chris. How it felt to be up on top of the world here, getting through that portage. Oh my goodness. It is nice to be here. I definitely am pushing on a bit here, but one nice thing is that I am losing elevation through this whole next chain of lakes here. Chapin is the highest, and then it goes down from there, so that makes it a little easier. They are very small lakes with very short portages, so I can actually move through them pretty quick. It's so quiet and beautiful in here. The waters are so clear. Last portage of the day, the longest one of this little stretch here at 400 meters. Of course, wouldn't be Temagami. You look at the map, you're like, oh cool, I lose 25 meters of elevation on this portage. Great. Of course, you also have to go up like 20 at the start, so then it's down 40. Oh my God. I am going to sleep so well tonight. Today's one of those days where you just roll into camp absolutely stupefied, where you just get there and you throw your stuff down and you're just like, my brain is dead. I don't even know what to do. So tired. But quickly bashed out camp chores, got everything set up, got my dinner on the go. My body is screaming for calories. I got too much sun today. I didn't stop for a proper lunch break, so that's on me. Tomorrow I will do that. Only made like maybe 10K today, something like that. It's crazy. Maybe less, I don't know. It's crazy how little distance I did today. But it is grueling through this stretch here. And I am going to have the best sleep tonight. And tomorrow is another day in Temagami. From where I'm at right now, I can cut across a couple of small lakes here to a lake called Lubert, which on my main map does not indicate a portage, that then connects back up to a spot called Ames Creek, which then leads into Florence. But shout out to the guys at Ottertooth who know the Temagami area really well. There is a portage on there, and so that's the one I plan to take today. And so I should, with all luck, be able to make it to Florence today, no problem. And if I did, that would be incredible to make it that far by my 4th day. I would love to get there and really spend some time, spend a couple days, relax, take a rest day or two, and just really kind of take and enjoy that lake. I do think it's one of the more special lakes of Temagami, and very much worth the effort to get to. Might run into some trouble right before I get into Florence Lake with a small little dried up lake and some mud. Might have to be a little bit of a bushwhack around that, so that we'll see. Yesterday definitely took a bite out of me. Feeling good, but feeling a little sore today. But ready to push and keep going. So fun. I see the portage sign. I also see at least 50 meters of marsh at the shoreline before it. Let's see what this is about. Is there a way to get through this? So I was grunting it out sort of on one of the last portages there and kind of getting lost in the, oh, this is really hard, you know, and trying to think about the lake that I already want to get to at the end of the day sort of thing, and not really stopping to really, you know, enjoy. And then it's like, why are you out here, right? So it's like when you're feeling goal oriented is when I find that I'm having
lesser sort of fun, you know? I'm like thinking about the next place I already want to get to. I'm thinking about pushing on to another lake further down, and I'm missing the beauty of what's right in front of me, you know? And so I just kind of took a deep breath and was like, remember why you're out here in this special place, you know? So I did, and I just enjoyed it a lot more. You just, you know, when you're just staying in that present moment, you're not thinking about where you're trying to get to. That's what it's all about. That's why you want to be out here.
So the portage from Lubert descends out of Lubert Lake, very steep descent, which would be absolutely brutal going the other way, and joins up with Ames Creek, which is a small, tiny little creek flowing through the forest, and which is part of another portage in the middle of another portage. So that I wouldn't lose track of where I was, because the entrance to mine is harder to spot, I brought the canoe and the gear pack down to join up with that portage to mark my place. Now I come back for my food, and I'm gonna continue on down past the canoe all the way to Skoostagan, then come back, grab the canoe. There's the creek, there's the canoe. It's my checkpoint to come back for. Okay.
Strung out the tarp just as a little bit of rain came in. Feels like the brunt of the storm is gonna skirt here. It's not coming down too much right now, but could be wrong. We'll see how long this lasts. I've got some energy. I've got a mind to keep going to Florence Lake because it's very close, but if this is as far as I get today, so be it.
Shallowing up quite a bit here, which I was warned about. And I know that it's supposed to be about, at the end of this little lake here, it's supposed to be about a 400-meter portage into a very small little lake, pond-sized type lake, and then another 350 or something like that to Florence. So not far, but that little tiny lake is apparently fully dried up with mud, and so it's a bit of a bushwhack along the shoreline. And this one's drying up a bit, so they weren't lying when they said this is going to be hard. The portage is 100 meters up ahead, and it is just mud now. That is not enough to get through, which means I'm gonna have to get out and try and drag this. I'm gonna be falling up to my thighs or waist. This is gonna be really ugly. Yep. Oh, there's gotta be a better way. That is chest deep mud. Yeah, that's not gonna work. I'll take this. People. Oh, my only hope is to try and get to the shoreline. It's like 30 meters away. It feels like it's 2 miles away. This is mud that is like so deep with about a centimeter of water on top of it. Not even. I can just get a little further. It's grueling. Fuck me. Thunder's rolling back again. I might be able to drag the canoes through some of this and hop from these little highlands to islands. A little more solid over here. It's so heavy to drag. No choice. I'm in trouble here. Okay. Well, I don't know what happened to my GoPro, if it died or not in that muck, or if it just ran out of batteries for my borderline survival situation that I just got through on Skistagan Lake. That's a story for around the campfire. We're here, we got to Florence.
I got stuck so deeply in that mud, and I couldn't have been 30 meters from the shore of this lake once the water dried up. And for the life of me, I couldn't move the canoe at all. Eventually, through the hardest muddy bit, got through some of that, and then only slightly less difficult, was able to then find some like small islands of vegetation that were like slightly more solid, some of them, and was able to then like jump to that sort of and be able to pull the canoe a little bit along. But even that was getting me like absolutely nowhere, and the shore was so close, but it couldn't have felt any further away. My rescue, my throw line that you just carry with you in your canoe, that's attached as part of my bail kit and my whistle, whatever, I just tied that on to the bow of my canoe, and I then literally army crawled, hands and knees, to spread out, disperse my weight, to not like sink down into the murk. And then from there, I was like wrapping the rope around myself and just heaving back and heaving back. So crazy how stuck this thing was and how treacherous this mud was. This was like drowning mud. It was so deep. Finally, after a few turns of this rope business, then was able to do the same army crawl, like just prostrate into the mud, fully covered, got to the shoreline, ran the rope, eventually able to refit in enough that I got the canoe into shore. Just collapsed with exhaustion there. Big mistake paddling that last bit, sticking myself in the mud a bit. At that point, I should have tried to back things up. The situation I put myself in was gnarly. It was a gnarly situation. And now at this incredible place, Florence Lake, it holds such a special place in my heart. This campsite specifically holds such a special place in my heart. It just feels like such a reward to get here, because any which way you try and get into this lake, like, it takes a while. You got to work at it. Temagami will make you earn it. You traverse beautiful scenery on the way, and then to have this big, beautiful, blue, clear lake with high cliffs all around just open up in front of you is just, it's a magical sight. And the view from here is as good as it gets for me. So I am looking forward to hanging out here for a bit. I'm gonna chill out here a couple days now. My body needs a rest like nobody's business. But now I feel in a very special place. I'm just so grateful to be here. I am completely exhausted. I'm just gonna boil up some ramen noodles, go straight to sleep, and then have a sleep in. Tomorrow, have some fun around camp, celebrate.
is a good place to be. Good morning. Welcome to my yard sale of a campsite here on Florence Lake. Today is going to be pure rest day. I am airing everything out. Everything is drying. I'm going to charge camera batteries. I'm going to clean lenses. I'm going to charge power banks with a solar panel. I'm going to do some laundry. I'm going to make pancakes. And I'm pretty much just going to chill. It's a pretty windy day today. I'm on the leeward side of this campsite, which is blessed to have both an eastward facing side to get the morning sun and then a north and west facing part where you can catch sunset and late sun, so you get it every which way here. There's a lot of trees to shelter between the two little sections here, so it's much more common here. There's actually white caps blowing out on the lake. It's a pretty strong wind going. It would be a headwind if I was paddling today, so it's just a great day to just be like resting and chilling. Wild blueberries at this time of the year in this part of the country, localized entirely within this campsite? Why, yes. Oh man. That is delicious. Oh. Wild blueberries definitely have a different taste than the regular ones that you can buy in a store. Well, they're a hell of a lot smaller for one. Not like the mutant ones that I usually buy. Clothes are washed. No idea if it's gonna, I mean, paddling north up a lake right now. Just sitting on my site, minding my business, writing in my little journal diary there, when I saw two other canoes sailing along, and I mean literally sailing. They had a big round sail out in front of them, and on a windy day like this, like they were ripping along, making some good speed. I did hit them up, and they did have some duct tape, so I think this shoe is going to get us through the rest of the way. So the footwear situation was a small thing, but it was not a small thing, because it was something that if things really started to go south, I didn't know what I was going to do, if I was going to run into anybody or not. So for those kind paddlers and Michael, I'm grateful, so thank you. Well, it's another beautiful morning here on Florence Lake. Lot calmer than yesterday. I've had another nice breakfast and coffee, and just now thinking that it's probably a good time to get out for a little explore, take a little paddle, and let's see if we can go find this viewpoint. Something that I've always wanted to do out here and just haven't done it yet. So yeah, let's get looking. Well, this thing goes straight up. What an incredible, special place. Trail was not very long. It was very steep, which meant it was a short hike up to this viewpoint. And get a great view out over the lake here. Spectacular. And I ran into my friends who gave me the duct tape yesterday, which was much appreciated. I had a nice stop and I had a nice chat with them. They're very nice people. You got this thing. Freaking harpoon Moby Dick with this. Oh, oatmeal on my face. Get that out of there. How are my teeth? Yeah, whatever. The plan now is to paddle out of Florence Lake and joins into the Florence River. From there, that flows into the south branch of the Lady Evelyn River. And we'll see how far I get today, but I'm hoping to paddle that out until it joins up with the fork of the north branch of the Lady Evelyn. It sort of becomes the main stream. Probably not my first choice of where I'd want to spend a night, but it's a pretty interesting site nonetheless. It's cool to check out. So coming up in a minute here to a stretch called White Rock Rapids, which is just a little constriction in the river for about 300 meters where the Lady Evelyn squeezes pretty tight and creates a small rapid. In the spring, I think you can run it, but I'm guessing it's probably way too low right now, so I'll probably be lining this. Ooh, just enough. A great time paddling down the Lady Evelyn right now. Got a tailwind for parts of this. Small bit of current. It's just a lovely day, moving at a good pace. Feels awesome. It's a really special place to be. Just taking little snack stops along the way. Probably stop a little further up ahead. There's a section that gets pretty tedious that I'm probably going to want to stop and get my energy up for. It's not hard paddling, it's just long and really annoying and boring. The last stretch of river before it joins up at the forks with the north branch of the Lady Evelyn. The river constricts through a marsh and goes through what are called oxbows. And oxbows are when the river going through this marshy section, looking for the course of least resistance, ends up taking this super like zigzaggy path where it's almost just like looping back over itself. So that for, you know, every kilometer you paddling forward distance on the map, you're actually probably paddling a few, like several, because of just how much like looping back and forth you're doing. Just at this site here, yeah, it's probably not a site that gets used very often. It's not in an ideal location, but in a pinch you could use it. It is cool though, because it is sectioned on an old piece of trail road, and then the road runs behind me back into the bush there. It's all, you know, overgrown with trees and everything. It'd be interesting to try and see to walk through it and see where it would lead for somebody much braver than myself. He actually just startled a bear as I came around the corner there. I was barely even looking at him. I just saw a black shape start to rustle in the bush, and I caught a glimpse of his head and his body for a minute as he scooted by. It was just as I was rounding the bend. Naturally, didn't have the camera ready. On your left. Ding ding. That goose was having none of me. Confluence of the South Lady Evelyn River and the North Lady Evelyn River, henceforth known as the Lady Evelyn River. Definitely made a decent bit of distance today, so still feel good. No portages will do that. Well, there's some kind of rapid coming up here. It's very shallow, very bouldery, I can see. Not much of a channel. Definitely not looking runnable. I would like to line it if I can though, because I'm just not feeling like portaging right now. A little bit of flat water until the next portage lining decision needs to be confronted. Came up all of a sudden. I was just lost in my own thoughts and just paddling quietly. As soon as I rounded this bend, I can hear this thing rushing. It's a pretty good sized drop, I think, as I recall. Sort of like a waterfall of sorts, so definitely not runnable. Pretty narrow in here, but I think we can shoot this. I mean, that was a very small rapid, but it was low and it was tight. It was a fine needle to thread. Didn't take so much as a scrape. Hell yes. Retrospectively, probably could have taken the portage on that one. Didn't scout properly to see that there's a big drop there at the end. Holy blueberries, Batman. Look at this. Oh my goodness. Real quick break. Oh my god, look at that. This might be as good a patch of wild blueberries as I've ever seen. Somehow this portage might even have, nay, definitely does have even more blueberries than the last one. Like, holy moly. I wonder if that makes me nervous to camp close to here though. I was like, McDonald's for black bears through here. I'm sure they just want to feast on these. Tough to say. It's hard to calculate through that last stretch of the South Lady Evelyn with the oxbows where it's just looping back on itself, but probably did at least 28k today. Big day. Big day. Oh, I'm so hungry I can barely think. Great day of paddling today. Very little portaging. Lined some rapids, probably shouldn't have lined the ones that I did, some of them.
definitely scraped some paint on my canoe, but got through. Have now landed on this nice little island site. It is so small. It is so small. The crapper is literally about 10 feet behind where I've got my hammock set up, which is about 10 feet behind me right now, which is about 10 feet in front of the water. So it's pretty small. But tomorrow we'll be getting into some of the waterfalls, which are really beautiful on the Lady Eve. I've gone up the South Branch before, but I've not gone down the North Branch. So it'll be cool to see some of them. I think some of the names are like Helen Falls, Frank Falls, Center Falls. So there's several to see. Should be some pretty hard portaging if it's anything like the South Branch, but feeling pretty good by this point. Yeah. Ready to eat dinner. It's a monstrosity is what it is. And it is freaking delicious right now. Actually a pretty decent fire pit once I moved the burnt out cans of White Claw out of it. Kudos to you for bringing your cans of White Claw up those hard portages, but once they're empty, they're pretty easy to squash down and carry out. Pretty silly to throw those in the fire, so I'm calling out whoever did that. Drives me nuts. Is this thing working? Looking like it's going to be another incredible day. Oh, those rainy first couple of days feel like ancient history now. It is, feels like summer again. That is the hazard with mining. It's the rocks. Slippery. Oh, that was fun. Not as fun as running a rapid, but a lot more fun than portaging it. Ah, that was good. One thing about paddling Temagami that is so satisfying, just from a planning perspective and just from a sense of freedom, is that you're not stuck with a particular route or having to be at certain places at certain times, you know? Because it's more wide open, it's less trafficked than other popular wilderness areas. I've really been going, for the most part, without a plan for which lake I'm trying to hit on a certain day. Other than that I'd known I'd wanted to get to Florence Lake and spend a couple days there. I didn't really have a target of, oh, I need to be at this lake by this day. And so I'm just kind of paddling as I feel like it. It's an incredible feeling, you know?
Jesus Christ. One thing I love about Temagami is how they make you start a portage. I mean, why give you shoreline when they could give you just a huge field of boulders to cross over before you get to the actual trail? Just that little Temagami spice. Amazing how much the character of the river has changed from yesterday when it was wide open, marshy, big towering cliffs in the distance, black spruce on the shoreline. Now it's constricted, it's really rocky, it's rugged, a lot more old pine. So red pine, jack pine, it's beautiful. Maybe not quite as smooth as last time. It is at the outflow of this lake where the Lady Evelyn splits off into the north and south branch. It's pretty cool. It's sort of just at the corner of the lake, and the two branches split not very far apart from each other at all. It just kind of forks. One goes north, one goes south, and they both continue down and drop over some really rugged country, through some narrow little canyons, over some nice waterfalls along the way. So well, just as I had been remarking how quiet it was, I did just run into a very nice family just now, from the Boston area, who I think they are also looking to get to Center Falls, which is where I had an idea of stopping today, you know, taking it a bit easier. But they seem very nice. They're happy to share. There's space for all of us. So I said, perfect, we'll see when we get there. Okay, this portage, this Helen's Falls portage is pretty strenuous. It is so rugged, the terrain it passes through. It's a tough, rocky trail and takes you to some high cliffs overlooking where the falls kind of drop down to the river, and it's confusing too. Once you get towards the end of the main trail and you get to sort of the rocky ridge, there's rock cairns to guide you, but they kind of, it gets confusing because there's some trails that branch off different ways. I ended up going to the left, I should have gone right. I ended up getting a little bit cliffed out, kind of made a dodgy little descent down to the river before joining up with the main trail back at the end. This is a tougher one. Well, when you have a view like that, it makes the portage, makes it worth it. Man, yeah, Helen Falls, it's beautiful. What you see behind me, and then it keeps dropping a bit too. I don't know if I can be able to see it from here, or if I can paddle around from the bottom to maybe check it out, but yeah, wow, gorgeous spot. I don't know who Helen is, but she must be a spectacular lady to have a set of falls named after her that look like that. Sign is there. I don't know where the trail is. I fell twice already. I dropped my canoe, I'm grabbing the barrel, seeing if I can see it with better visibility. I don't know if you're just supposed to walk on the rocks, because back in the bush it didn't seem to go anywhere. I'm taking another look. What the hell? Well, there is a trail of sorts that goes in there, but man, it is rough. It is not well marked, and when you're coming downstream, it is really difficult to find it and follow it. I've not at all been rushing myself today. I've been moving at a leisurely pace, and I am looking to probably make camp at Center Falls to just have a bit of an easier day and just really enjoy, take a swim, just soak in this beautiful spot. But it's probably been about 5 hours for me to move this 8 kilometers or so down the river. It's definitely tough going. Made it to Center Falls, baby. Wow, it is really, really nice in here. Portaging through here, not so nice. Again, the trail is really hard to follow, and it is so steep. There's like parts where I had to just like lower my canoe down over a bunch of rock and then climb down and then kind of put it back on and continue on my way. But oh my, is it worth it? Just a freaking gorgeous spot. It's like natural water slides and like little jacuzzi pools that form in the rock as the water's sort of going down. It's really, really nice. Woo! Oh shit! It's a pretty good slide. And by natural, it means that it's still made out of rock. Worth some hard portages to get to. That right there is what we call hammock porn. Oh my goodness. What an amazing spot to be able to spend the night. That really nice family came along, and sure enough, they were pretty tired, so I helped them out carrying some of their gear, portaged their canoes to the end of the portage here, and helped bring some of their gear. And so we're going to be sharing the campsite for the night. So I'm probably gonna keep the camera off for the most part for the rest of the evening, because just to be respectful of them. Yeah, I was happy to help out, happy to help these people out, because like I'm by myself out here. I need help. People help me out. You got to look out for each other out here. So yeah, I've got a chickpea curry rehydrating, and very excited about that, and maybe have a little campfire, chill out. But that's probably it for tonight. I'm very much looking forward to the feeling of falling asleep next to this incredible waterfall here. I know that rushing water is gonna rock me to bed like a little baby. So. A little cooler today to start off with, at least, not unwelcome. And I'm just kind of packing up camp now, having some coffee and breakfast, and I'm thinking I'm gonna be making my way towards at least Hobart Lake today. Looking to tackle Maple Mountain. I don't know if I'll do Maple Mountain today. Maybe I'll just take it easy today, get to Hobart, which is like a good staging lake for then doing the quick paddle and the hike up to Maple Mountain. Perhaps I'll do it this afternoon, but more likely I'll do it tomorrow. So that's the plan for today, and gonna just sit here and soak up this beautiful scenery for a bit longer and get moving downstream. I had some really strange songs stuck in my head for this trip. Like I've had an Enya song stuck in my head for a good week of this, and that's because I was in the motel in New Lisker the night before starting this trip, before bed, and just looking around on the TV and saw some Keanu Reeves and Charlize Theron movie from like the mid-2000s that was on, and it had that "Who Can Say Where the Road Ends" song in it. I don't even know what the name of that film was. Those middle Keanu Reeves years are really suspect. Pretty crazy being back out on the big waters again after that tight, narrow, really intimate, constricted section of the Lady Evelyn, and most of what I've been tripping through for the past 7 or 8 days before this. I'm on Sucker Gut Lake right now, which connects to Lady Evelyn Lake, got a little bit of a headwind as I'm coming up Sucker Gut here, but so far it is nothing too troubling. This little section of Sucker Gut Lake is really, really nice. I'm gonna proceed on up to Hobart now. I'm not sure, it feels like there could be an afternoon thunderstorm brewing. I'm planning to take a little half day today, climb Maple Mountain tomorrow. Not even a creek so much, more like a rocky channel. So I've started to hear a couple cracks of thunder. No lightning yet. Just coming into this headwind on Hobart Lake. It's a little annoying, but it's okay. There's a number of sites on this lake. Not too far from one. So I'm just gonna give her hell for the next little bit. Just power through it. Any luck, I'll be safely ashore and settled in comfortably with the tarp up by the time this thing rolls over. Nothing like the combination of a potentially nice campsite up ahead and a looming thunderstorm coming behind to motivate you for some hard stretch of paddling. I don't see anything directly over me right now. It's more in the areas around me. So I think that should be okay. Out of the wind in this whole stretch too. That's nice. Okay, I found a site. I had to go out, paddle all the way around Hobart, come all the way back around, and now I'm just in the channel, just outside it, so this will do. Don't want all this nice split wood to get soaked. this juicy orange while I wait for my soup. Such a classic lunchtime combination. Vegetable soup and an orange complement each other so well. I'm also peeling this like some kind of maniac who's never peeled an orange before. That's delicious. And some much needed vitamin C. Thank you to my fisherman friends. Well, really feels like that thunderstorm has skirted by. But I've committed, so I'm gonna get some use out of this. I've got my vegetable soup as if it was gonna rain. I've got some good action going down on the Kindle here. A little Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Actually, I've never read them before. Stuff is just starting to go down big time right now, so I'm really into it. Dolores Umbridge, not so into her though. If Dolores Umbridge was a lake, she would be my experience on Skoostagen. Just the worst time of my life. Well, I don't know if it was that furious paddling against that headwind to try and race out that storm that never materialized, or if it's just residual from the portages down through the waterfalls of the North Channel and the extra runs with that family's canoes yesterday. But I'm feeling freaking just beat right now. I'm ready to take a nap. It could also just be the crazy amount of sun I've got now on this trip. I am weathered. Well, never mind that thought about the storm that didn't materialize, because I just stepped outside and I looked towards Maple Mountain and I was looking really, really foggy over there, looking like there was some rain coming in. And then as soon as I noticed that, I started to feel a few droplets here. Wind is starting to pick up again. Yeah, it's raining. It's raining. I don't know how hard it's gonna come, but it's coming. Oh, yes, there's nothing to do but read more HP. Occlumency. What the hell is that? There's that Maple Mountain Fire Tower, way off in the distance, up on top of that hill. Can't wait to go out there. It's gonna be a beautiful view. some lentil burritos with some Mexican rice, some rehydrated green peppers, onion, some garlic, of course, some Franks. Oh my goodness. A little saucy. That is okay though. Wow. Pretty tired today. Maybe it's just, you know, day 9 of a trip and it's just catching up with me. Packed up camp, ready to go, and just getting ready to set out to hike for the mountain here. So yeah, it's very clear sky right now. It's very calm. It's going to be absolutely perfect. I think the visibility is going to be amazing. So I'm really stoked. The old ranger cabin at the base of the trail of Maple Mountain, or what's left of it at least. From what I understand about the trail, the incline goes up the higher you get. Just closer you get to the summit, steeper and steeper it gets. So I'm pretty sure I just saw a small, young, wild turkey. I've always marveled. I'm like, well, where do they live? Like, I never, obviously they live in the forest here, but I'm like, I never see them. Never seen them on a canoe trip. Never seen them like, I think I just saw one. I know this part of Temagami is further north and more north up in the transition zone between the Laurentian forest and the boreal forest of the further north. Big pines, tons of spruce, but a lot less of the hardwoods that you see in places like Algonquin Park and further south. So it's cool just to have a little stretch where you see some of that here. That breakneck pace that I started with has been left behind further down the trail. I think it's also important to recognize here when hiking up to Maple Mountain that this is a sacred trail that leads to a sacred place in the cosmology of the Temagami First Nation. As I understand it, this is where the souls of the dead go when they die, to the top of this mountain. And so it's an important place, it's a spiritual place. And, you know, of course, for the world that they lived in, this Temagami area, this was the, you know, their known world. You know, it couldn't have encompassed, I don't think, the scope of the world at large, right? But it's important to be reverent and to honor the fact that this is a really important place and it's a real privilege to get to go to it, you know? It's not lost on me what a privilege it is to be able to come up here and respectfully take in this beautiful, beautiful place. Starting to get real steep now. Oh, my whole body is just dripping with sweat right now. Jesus. This thing just keeps going up and up. Okay. We've reached the ladders, which must mean I'm near the summit. Oh, this is crazy. Summit push. Jesus, I got vertigo here. This is like the Hillary step. Holy crap. Once again, there are just blueberries growing absolutely everywhere. So blueberries are only for the hardiest of souls to eat. Oh boy. Wow, this is special. Up here at the summit of Maple Mountain now, and it is really special. There's the remains of the old fire tower behind me. The bottom part of the ladder has been taken away so that you can't climb it. There's a way that you could do it if you wanted to, but too crazy for me. The views are astounding from up here. I can see off to where I came from, further down, I think McPherson, Lady Evelyn route, the burnt out old forest that I passed through a couple days ago. I can look and see Lady Evelyn Lake, Hobart, the waters I just came from, Temagami, off on the other side. Just hawks just spinning up in the thermals just directly above my head. It is a really, really special spot. It was hard to get up. It was a steep hike, but it is so worth it. I'm taking a moment here. I'm coming back down from the Maple Mountain Trail, catching my breath and just taking in the incredible beauty of these woods, this forest around me, and just feeling very grateful, feeling very blessed to being able to experience this. And this trip over this last 10 days here has just been amazing. It's been so challenging. It's been so rewarding. It's been filled with so much beauty and so many unexpected moments, and lots of solitude, but also meeting a few really great people along the way too, and just sharing those couple of moments on the trail, just trading stories or just saying hello. It's part of what makes things really, really special out here. And you know, when I started planning this trip and when I was setting out to do it, I was, you know, hoping that I would be able to do the route that I did. I was hoping that I'd be able to come out the Lady Evelyn River at the end and hike Maple Mountain if I had time, because I'd never done it before. And I've done that, and I am just feeling so high. I'm feeling so good off of that, you know, it's a perfect climax to a trip. And all that's left is a couple days of just sort of paddling out over some familiar terrain. And my main camera is out of memory anyway, so I don't think there's too much left to show. So I think probably gonna have to sign it off from here. And it's been a wonderful journey. So thank you again, Temagami. It's been an incredible treat. I'm going to enjoy the last couple of days paddling out here, and I'm going to enjoy some nice weather, hopefully. I'm going to reflect. I'll start planning and thinking about the next time. Little three-way street coming up here. Behind us lies Tupper. To the right leads back to Hobart. But if we turn left, the adventure continues. be back here again.